InnerQuest explores various pathways through which you can connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and apply it to personal, professional, and spiritual growth. This program, featuring accomplished practitioners, educators, and authors, is provided by Infinity Foundation, an innovative center for holistic studies and research. We invite you to share this journey with us.
Hello, welcome to InnerQuest. My name is Jay Stone, your host for today, and our guest is Cynthia Gallaher. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Cynthia is a Chicago-based poet and writer and is author of 3 books and a writing workshop leader for more than 15 years. Cynthia is listed on the Chicago Public Library's top 10 most requested Chicago poets and named one of 100 women making a difference by today's Chicago Woman's Magazine. You're pretty accomplished.
Well, I've been working for a long time. I just love poetry. I love journal writing. I love teaching.
How did you get started with journal writing?
Actually, I got started working as a volunteer with a lot of people who had trouble writing. And also because I'm a poet, I taught people poetry writing. And it just, over the years, it became slowly evolved from being a volunteer to working at places like Infinity Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the name of your workshop?
My workshop is called Life Transformation Journal Writing.
Mm-hmm. And why would someone want to keep a journal?
Well, a journal is a place to keep your private thoughts and also to work out issues in your life. And it can be in the guise of a blank book with lined pages. It can be a file on a computer. It can take a number of different physical forms. But what's more important about journal writing is that it applies to so many different things in your life. It can have something to do with preserving your family history. You can use it for writing your memoirs. You can also work out a lot of situations with relationships, or if you have an illness, there may be something that happened in your life in the past that you never got a resolution for. You can use the journal to work those things out. Many people who have travel experiences like to use a journal to transform those into unforgettable passages. But all in all, I would say journal writing is a new route to creative and emotional release and exploration.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you really need to take a class to learn how to write a journal, or couldn't you just start writing on your own?
Well, I think the thing about being in class is you have the camaraderie of other people. You find out where they're at. A lot of times people don't know what to do. I mean, journal writing, as with anything else, you may need some guidance to do it, and I believe people do, because putting one foot in front of the other, how would you write a journal?
Mm-hmm. Now, what about the issue of privacy? You hear about, like, parents looking in their children's diary and discovering something, that was better off, not being found out. What do you say about privacy? Well,
you don't want to leave your journal on the vanity next to the toilet or anything, or on the car seat, but and I think there needs to be some sort of code of privacy in a family, that we have to trust one another and we have to discuss this. But I mean, one thing about a child's privacy, but I think there should be an open conversation in a family, and we should have a privacy about our journals. Mm-hmm. If that's the only way that we can find out about our kids, I think that's a problem.
I would agree with you. Now, do you recommend journaling on a computer, longhand? What's your suggestion?
Well, I don't really have any suggestion. I think that there's so many different ways that you can write a journal. I just leave it up to the individual, the way that they would prefer it. If they would like to have a loose leaf notebook, whether they like to have a bound book, whether they like to have it on a computer. That more and more people do use the computer for their journal.
Mm-hmm. And how many minutes a day do you recommend people journal for?
I say just start out with 5 minutes. If you can do that every day, or if you have just 3 days a week that you can write, start out with 5 minutes. It's just like exercising. You start out with a small amount, you work your way up.
And how many minutes do people work their way up to?
I think people will tend to write about 15 minutes to a half hour.
No, I think...
I mean, our lives are, you know, we have limited time, so...
Are you familiar with the book, The Artist's Way? I think it's by Julia Cameron.
Yes, I am. And I also use that book, what's within that, to help people. There's an artist date that you can make once a week or once every other week, where you will go somewhere and do something that you really enjoy, something that means a lot to you, whether you go to the Botanic Gardens and walk around, or you go to a musical concert. You take time to be by yourself, and then use that as fuel for your journal.
Oh, I like that. I've never heard of that. Now, I think Julia recommends writing first thing in the morning.
She has the morning pages where you would write 2 pages and just put anything down there.
And do you think there's a preferred time to journal?
I think some people are morning people, some people are night people. I'm more of a night person. I wake up early in the morning, I have to go to work, but it's not a good time for me to write. I like to write right before I go to sleep. So it depends. Some people use their lunch hour.
Do you find writing right before you go to sleep helps to release the stress of the day and helps you sleep better?
It does, because then I can get a lot of things off my chest that I'm thinking about, and then it prepares me for the evening and for sleep. So I think it's a way to sort through what you've gone through in the day, or just what you're thinking about.
Now, what do your students say to you after they take your journaling workshop? What kind of feedback do you get? Do you say, wow, I'm learning so much about myself? Or...
Well, I think when they take the class, it's not so much that they're learning about themselves, because that's something that they're going to pursue after the class. I think what they don't, they never realize that there's so many different ways of journaling. And one of the things that I do bring up is based on the techniques of the father of modern journaling. His name is Ira Progoff. And he uses dialogues to really explore some of the personal and creative issues that we have.
Kind of like drama therapy on a page.
It is. And I have an exercise that's called Letters That Can't Be Delivered. And what happens is you write down a letter. You actually write a letter to a loved one, to someone who's passed away.
Or a politician.
You could write to a politician who's alive or dead. You could write to an event, a historical event. You could write to an illness. And it's really an opportunity for you to lay out what you really feel and all those things that you want to find out. And it's important because journaling, we need to know the questions that we want to ask. That's what journaling is about. If we have the right questions that we're asking ourselves, the answers aren't far behind.
Could someone write a letter to God?
You could write a letter to God, and then I call that prayer.
Okay.
But one thing I want to tell you about these letters that can't be delivered, of course they can't be mailed, but here's the tricky part, is you turn around, you change roles, and you actually write the answer back in the voice of that loved one or the condition, and you provide a written response.
So why do you call your workshop Life Transformation?
Well, we live in a very busy world. We live in a fast-paced world, and hundreds and thousands of thoughts go through our mind all the time. But as human beings, we really can't believe that our life is just a series of impressions and reactions and responses. And what we can do is we can take control of our lives, and we can transform it and use journal writing to sort through a lot of the unimportant issues and really shed